Hey guys, Weeby News here, and today I'm going to be discussing some of the funniest moments in the Danganronpa series, in my opinion. I also asked you guys your opinion on what your favorite moments were as well, so I'll be featuring some of your comments at the beginning of each section. But before we begin, I just want to plug a couple of things. I started streaming Genshin on Twitch, so follow me over there if you'd like to join those streams. Also, I created a subreddit for the channel, so you guys can discuss videos, streams, post memes on there, etc. So yeah, feel free to check that out if you're interested in it. But yeah, other than that, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you do enjoy this video. It really does help me out a lot with the algorithm. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. First up is Ibuki's concert, and Ibuki has a ton of hilarious lines. But by far, my favorite scene from her was the concert where she shows off her, talents. I was like Hajime, you know? I thought it would be good. But instead, what came out was whatever the hell this is. The song's called Let My Feelings Reach You, so you'd think it would be like a slow love song, but instead it's just like a high-pitched screaming with her doing like super emo slam poetry in the background. The lyrics are so out there too. At one point she's singing about a straw doll laughing at her, and then her stabbing it, and then she's signing her marriage registration in blood. Like, girl, I don't know what your feelings are, but you know, maybe keep them to yourself. I'm pretty sure this scene is the first time you see Kazuichi's screaming sprite too, which is of course iconic, and one of my favorite sprites in the entire series. It's like he's literally in a death game, but out of all things, this is what caused him to make that face first. I don't know, that fact is just so hilarious to me. And of course, seeing everybody else suffering, including Gundam's little hamsters, is just too funny. Besides Hiyoko, obviously. Of course she would like this shit. And of course, you can't forget the classic, I squeezed out the baby, but I have no idea who the father is. Although we never got to hear this banger, the title still lives on in our hearts for eternity. Plus, on the bright side, there is some fan-made versions that are pretty awesome if you want to check them out. Next up is the insect meet and greet, where Kokichi tells Ganta the other students all hate bugs and tricks him into kidnapping them and making them play with bugs all evening. Everything from like Ganta going Super Saiyan to the students being tortured by the bugs to Kokichi getting some well-deserved karma was just great in my opinion. And let's be real, it's always fun to see Kokichi suffer. He's like one of my favorite characters and I still enjoy it. He deserves it. Come on. I think these scenes have some of the most epic screenshots from V3 too. Like Ganta releasing the bugs. It's like he's releasing the Kraken. I love how innocent his face looks while at the same time it's shaded over like an anime villain. Ganta's just so innocent and cute. Like, I just know he really has no idea how badly he's torturing his friends, even though they look super duper horrified like right in front of him. And there's also this one part that just like lives rent-free in my head, where Ganta talks about petting bugs. Like, how? Especially for him since he's so big. And although I love this scene because of how hilarious it is, I also really like how well it shows two important sides of Kokichi's personality. First, there's his childish humor that we see through his enjoyment of pranking the students, but we also see his more dangerous and manipulative behavior by using Ganta's naivety in order to force the students to watch the motive videos. And I feel like this scene just really foreshadows his later actions in chapter 4. There are certain questions that all of us misface at one point or another in our life. Why do we exist? What's our purpose? Are we alone in this massive, expanding universe? And how many sides does an octagon have? Well, boy, do I have good news for you, because I know the answer to at least one of these. An octagon has 4 sides.
No, that's wrong.
Damn it. It's such a short moment, but it's so endlessly hilarious and has inspired so many memes. I just felt like I couldn't not include it. Clementine Kitten, in response to my community post, did mention that apparently in the original Japanese version of the game, the word octagon was actually in English rather than in Japanese, which is why it would be a more difficult question for him to answer. So Hajime isn't a total himbo, but it's still a pretty funny scene in English. Another thing that makes this scene so funny is kind of like what's going on in the trial during that time too, but I'll touch on that later in the video. Next up is Toko Fukawa and Ultra Despair Girls. Just all her moments. She is so freaking funny in this game. Like many others, Ultra Despair Girls was what got me to go from hating Fukawa to absolutely standing her. And of course, a big reason for this is because of her character development and her friendship with Kamaru, but I won't deny that another reason I began to love her was just because of how freaking sassy she is in this game.
Hey, Toko, do you know how to do a good zombie impression?
I'm not doing that.
Chairman's head! We left it! Now he's gonna curse me again!
I'm leaving.
I think the deadpan responses delivered by the voice actors here just absolutely makes these scenes. She sounds so seriously done with Kamaru's shit. Another one of my favorites is her interjecting every few seconds to remind Kamaru just how big Junko's boobs are when Nagi's trying to give like important plot exposition. The first time she brings it up too, Kamaru looks like super duper horrified. Like, big boobs too? Truly, that was her worst crime. Overall, she was just super blunt and hilarious this whole game.
Pathetic! Just like I always say, stupid little girls with no wieners are total cowards.
Wieners? That kid, he said wiener. Wiener! He just blurted out wieners like that.
Next up is Miyu Iruma's entire existence. I mean, really, just listen.
Good job, Kaede. Guess I shouldn't have judged you by your lackluster rack. It's like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide. Wait, what the hell's a seesaw homicide? That's fucking crazy!
The funny thing too is the creators revealed they actually made Miyu with the intention of making the fans hate her, which is why she's so crude and aggressive. But little did they know, this entire fan base is made up of degenerates who worship her because of it. I think my favorites from her are her one-liner insults in the trials. Like, how does she come up with this stuff?
Hey, don't be acting all cocky, Kokichi. You put my ass in the hot seat earlier. How about you just keep your fucking mouth shut, you lying little abortion?
Does she practice alone in her room at night? Who thinks to call someone else an abortion? One of her best nicknames, though, is when she calls Shuichi Sherlock Homo in the first trial. And let's be real, she's not really wrong considering what Saihara thought to himself in Kaido's free time events. I also love how in the trials, she's literally basing her opinions on the stupidest shit like Kaide's bra size, but yet, she somehow manages to guess the culprit correctly every time. My favorite line ever by Miyu is the nickname that she came up for Tagami in Danganronpa S. I'll just let you take a look at my reaction. It speaks for itself. You make it sound like... What is that name? Oh my god! How did they come up with that? Oh my god, what stuff it just came out of nowhere. Next up is Sonya. I feel like Sonya is the most surprisingly funny and wholesome character in all of Danganronpa. Some of my favorite lines from her are the ones I like to call her boomer moments. Sonya is the same age as the other students, but she's a princess and is not a normal high schooler by any means. And because of her position, she wasn't able to interact with others her age, so she's socially stunted, which is why it's just like so hilarious to see her use slang. One of my favorites is when she starts cursing, and it sounds like she just learned these words like an hour ago.
God damn it, all to hell!
She just looks so innocent and cute while she says them too. It's like she's a mom trying to act cool in front of her kids. She's genuinely a really sweet girl who's rather sheltered because of her royal upbringing, and because of this, she just says like the craziest shit sometimes.
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
And of course, there's her most iconic scene.
The footage you recorded with the surveillance cameras was shown to the Future Foundation? What shall I do? I did a lot of disgraceful things in front of those cameras.
You sure did.
I truly think this is like one of the funniest lines in the entire franchise. Sonya's horror and embarrassment, mixed with the fact that she has to hear this from Tagami, the prudest character.
That place is sealed up tighter than Togumi's butt.
It's just priceless. And the way Tagami's voice actor delivers that line, it's just chef's kiss. I'll always find the love triangle between her, Kazuichi, and Gundam in the fourth trial just super funny too. It was much needed for the depression that the trial later brings. Next up is Kokichi's death. Seeing him get crushed was truly the funniest scene in the entire franchise. Like, finally that little shit got what he fucking deserved. Oh wait, wrong death. Of course, I'm kidding. I'm a proud Kokichi apologist. I made a whole 30-minute video about it. And that's why this one is about Kokichi's fake death in chapter 3. I was so scared when I saw him on the floor. After 2 deaths, and one of them being my top favorites, I was just like emotionally vulnerable and was about ready to destroy my console if there was a 3rd death, especially if it was my best, worst boy Kokichi. And when he lifts his head up and says, "It's a lie," it's just like the perfect moment. The even better part though is talking to him afterwards and learning that he actually did get hurt, but he was trying to like play it off with a prank. He just looks like so screwed up, like he needs to go to the hospital, but he's trying so hard to act cool. It really is one of my favorite moments to look up streamer reactions to as well. It probably is one of my favorite moments in all of V3. What the crap? What? What the fuck? What? Oh my god! That scared the shit out of me! What? What the fuck? Oh my god! It's just a prank, bro. Next up is the sauna scene between Mondo and Ishimaru. My god, do I freaking love this scene. It is so stupidly hilarious. As we all know, it starts off with them bickering since their personalities are pretty different. Mondo is a rebellious gang leader, while Ishimaru is a moral compass who always wants to follow the rules. The only thing they really have in common is their macho-ness, which is why they challenge each other to an endurance test to see who's the manliest. And this scene is literally like, bro, what's the gayest way to decide who's tougher? A sauna off. Oh my god, this whole scene is just fucking gold. When they're in the sauna, there's just like so many sus lines between Ishimaru and Mondo. And you can just feel Nagi's uncomfortableness exuding through the screen. He's just standing there like, should I be listening to this? And then the next day, after you hear all of that, you see them magically super close with like no explanation of what happened. And them like refusing to say what exactly happened. And it just starts to make you think, you know? And Ishimaru telling Mondo that his body is a temple the next day. I mean, it's just like the icing on the cake. I love this scene, and it inspired one of my favorite ships, so I'm really grateful for that. And not only is this scene hilarious, it also leads into some really emotional moments later in the chapter. And I think that's another reason why it just like stands out so much to me. Next up is the Danganronpa 3 English dub. The entire thing, come on now. I know you guys saw this coming. The entire dub feels like a parody, especially since now it's filled with just like dead memes.
Performing said thing will trigger a lethal injection of poison faster than you can say, I can't eat it.
I just know if it was made more recently, there'd be a point where Monokuma calls Nagi a sussy baka or some shit. There's also literally parts where the voice actors just straight up make fun of the plot.
Yeah, I don't get this either. Pretty sure I died.
Thank you. I'll be right there.
Which, let's be real, Danganronpa 3 kinda deserves that. And how can I not include this dub with all the iconic memes Valley Girl Junko made?
Kamakura, yes, queen! Oh, look at him tremble. He's gonna burst a blood vessel because I dissed his waifus.
I honestly credit this dub to have made a big impact on Danganronpa's popularity in 2020. Since a lot of these audios went super duper viral on TikTok, I've been pretty open with the fact that I don't really care much for the Danganronpa 3 anime. I do plan on making a video regarding it at some point, and I'm glad to know that at least when I rewatch it for a video, I can experience it the correct way.
Ideals, philosophy, art, culture. They live and die by the meme. An infection.
Next up is Sassy Nagito. In this chapter, Komaeda literally goes from being Hajime's #1 biggest simp to absolutely shitting on him every opportunity he gets. I think this combined with the fact that this is the trial where Hajime really shows off that reserve course education with his Octagon moment just makes it like a million times better. I could just imagine Komaeda looking at the others like, look, I told you guys, no talent. Look how long it's taking him to figure out what a fucking Octagon is. And Hajime's just over in the corner like, 4 sides, 5 sides. No, that's not right. Komaeda was always so busy before hyping up the other students, and he goes from that to being so condescending and pessimistic. I just love his little sassy remarks he makes to the trial.
Then let's start with something even Miss Sonya can understand. The weapon. Well, the weapon is obvious, right?
Then let's begin. Shall I call it thinking time?
One of the best moments is when he decides to steal the closing argument from Hajime too. I love how it just like starts playing the music and everything.
Hey, what are you... First of all, by messing with all the clocks in the building, Gundam tried to lure only Nekomaru.
It really makes you think they're about to end the trial like that. He gets so pissed off when he gets interrupted as well. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna continue now. Like, shut up, Chiaki. Mom said it's my turn to be the protagonist. Overall, I just love these scenes. Nagito's already a hilarious character. I didn't really think it was possible for him to be funnier, but somehow he was in this chapter. But this will conclude the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. There were so many other great moments I didn't get to include. I was like dying reading the comments on that community post. So I may make a sequel to this video if you guys would like that. So yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments if you agree with my list or if you disagree. What were the funniest moments to you in your opinion? But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video and I will see you real soon.